Kangaroos can't hop backwards, and that, my friends, is a fact of life. Thank you, and welcome to That's the Facts of Life. We'll be covering all the topics that matter to you and giving you just the facts. The topics today include an inside job on insider trading, SEC adds new disclosures and controls, and Richard M. Nixon back from the dead? We'll see. But first, let's check in on that FINRA Naughty List. Topping the list this week is a New York financial services company. This bank is being asked to pay a nearly $2 million fine and return more than $500,000 to customers for failing to get the best prices. According to FINRA's statement, the bank's systems and procedures were deficient and the bank failed to perform an adequate transaction review. Also, they were sending customer notices via the Pony Express. Meanwhile, people are dying of dysentery all over the Oregon Trail. It's ridiculous. This same bank encountered a $5 million settlement and a $7 billion, with the B, to the Department of Justice last July, and a $1.1 million FINRA fine in March. Also, they picked Weber State to make it to the Final Four, which is a pick that's way too risky for anyone to make. Foolish. In other news, the Justice Department and the SEC recently filed criminal and civil complaints against Michael Lucarelli for trading using client information. Mr. Lucarelli was last seen after posting bail running from the federal courthouse in Lower Manhattan barefoot. Yes, barefoot. The SEC prosecutors charged him with 13 counts of insider trading that resulted in profits of over $500,000. This begs the question, why can't he afford those shoes? An interesting twist, though, about this story is how the FBI secured evidence, and it can only be described as a plot from the HBO series The Wire. Federal agents used a search warrant to look inside Mr. Lucarelli's suitcase, which was locked at the time. They photographed the documentation and then returned it all very carefully to the original place. More surprisingly, though, than that was the fact that there were no running shoes inside this briefcase, only a map of Lower Manhattan and then a YMCA membership card. After nearly 6 years since the financial crisis, regulators have finally voted to require new controls for the two sectors of Wall Street that had the biggest impact at the heart of the collapse. The SEC unanimously approved rules requiring the issuers of asset-backed securities to disclose more information about the underlying loans. The SEC also tightened controls on credit rating agencies, which helped inflate the housing bubble. More importantly, they said a free credit report should mean free credit report. We all agree on that. Finally, it appears Richard M. Nixon has come back from the dead to work as a banker, of all things. In a recent regulatory filing from New Skin, there was a debt covenant signed by none other than Richard M. Nixon himself. After extensive research and calls, it was discovered the signature belonged to Richard M. Hickson, a underwriter at JPM Morgan Chase. The spokesperson for New Skin issued the statement, oops, looks like spell check missed that one. And that'll actually do it for today. To learn more, check out this week's Compliance Digest. And in case you didn't know, George R.R. Martin's popular Game of Thrones series was actually created from turtles he grew up with as a child. And that, my friends, is a fact of life.